Well, here we are on September 2nd, and we're doing just a quickie. It's a nice day, not real sunny. We're doing a quickie of, we saddled up Eve again. I've got the Pirelli rope hackamore on. I'm reminding Eve that I want her to come close to my mount barrel, and that's something you have to train. Over. Over. Good. She's real good about going over in small steps. I had a helper yesterday make me a better step up. And that black ABS was too loose. I use an old 4x4 post. I'm going to try it. Can I do this without having my camera person, Jessica, come over and give me a hand? I want to be able to do this on my own in the future, because you know what? All these obstacles in a side saddle, it takes a lot of repetition. I want to be able to do this over and over and over again until I'm sure that Eve understands what I'm asking her to do when I'm in the side saddle, which means only one leg for pressure. You see how, look at her body language, she's good. Is the camera looking at her head? Okay. She's blinking her eyes. She doesn't have a high neck. She's listening to me. Her ears are back. Now let's see if I can do this myself. And I've got my side saddle dress on, but when I walk it's kind of too long, so I tie it up in a knot. It's all right. And I have hip replacement, so I don't like to put a lot of pressure on my hips when I'm putting pressure on just one leg. Oh, that worked perfect. Perfect. Oh, didn't feel like I was putting too much pressure. This didn't make a lot of noise. It didn't rattle. Now, Evie is looking just fine. But remember, we're on a creek bank. If there's suddenly a noise over there, she's likely to go over there. So, Jessica, leaving the camera on, and on me, I'd like you to come over and just stand over here. And if there's any concern, remember, a visual block means a lot. They look out of the sides of their eyes. Okay, I'm going to put my seat in the seat of the saddle. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask you to stand over here and give me a hand. I just want to make sure I have the leverage when I need it. Okay, good. Now if Evie moves over, I'm in trouble. There you go. That's feeling real comfortable. Okay, just a minute. She knew I got in the saddle. She felt that weight change, but she was okay. Can you give me the stirrup and let me put my foot in it? I'm scooching over. There. Good. Feeling good. This is what I did before my right hip replacement. I did a lot of work in the side saddle. I learned how to get my balance by putting a lot of weight on my right sits bone. It's not like in a stride saddle. You see, this right leg, which is the one that I had my hip replacement done last time, maybe a year ago, is not on the right side of my horse. And you know what? I could have brought my crop, but who needs a crop? Can you pick up that stick? Yeah, anything to get her attention on the right side if I need it. Okay. So I can reach back and touch her on the hip with that stick instead of my leg. Okay, Jessica, so what I'm going to do, I'm watching her body language, she's fine. I'm just going to try to walk around this barrel and get her to parallel park next to the barrel again to get her to get off. Today's objective was just me getting in the saddle, because remember last time I didn't do it. And Jessica cinched up the saddle and we double checked it. Okay, you know what I'd like you to do? Leave the camera there. Just be around if I have trouble. I've got both reins in my hand, but I could direct rein if I wanted to. I like to look where I'm going. And then I'm going to give her the forward motion cue. Right sits bone in the saddle. Little bit of left leg pressure. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. It's all right. It's all right. Look where I'm going. Whoop, whoop. I've got my bull in the background. He's a little bit hormonal. Come on closer, Jessica. You can leave the camera on. Does that seem like trivial? Yeah, maybe from your point of view, but believe me, it's been a long time. For Evie and me, we've got distractions here now. Oh, I'm going to use this stick to try to get that hip over, 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 over. Need a few more small steps. I'm keeping the weight in my right sits bone, looking over her ears. Over, over. Good, good, Evie. Excellent. Again, it looks trivial, but horses like to take big steps. They don't like to take little steps. She took a little step for me. I'm trying to keep my balance in the center. Now I'm going to ask her to go over again. Looking over her ear. Over. Good. Good. Jessica's here just in case I get in trouble, but I'm feeling really good about Evie's attitude. Look at that. Look at that. She says, oh, I guess she's off the saddle now. You see her ears are back. She's listening for my request. She's a very, very willing Morgan. Okay. Now I'm going to ask her to stand. She's not indicating to me that she's going to move away. So I haven't tried this yet. I didn't try this yesterday. Can I go down my step? Yeah, it's pretty solid. Bull is still back there. Down my step. Down my step. Down my step. And look, she's licking her lips. That's a really good sign. I can throw my crop back down on the ground. It's just a stick. But it was an arm extension. And she's still licking her lips. Okay. Now, I got on this Pirelli rope hackamore. I've got a yacht rope lead line, which had a slip knot. So I'm pulling it out. I'm making sure that my yacht rope reins are behind the horn, you call it a horn, of the side saddle. Now, her left shoulder is actually touching this barrel. And if this barrel were to happen to fall over, it would be very freaky. That's why I have water in it. About a quarter of this barrel is filled with water. So it's very unlikely to fall over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jessica, because she's learning, to lead Eve back to the railroad tie, thinking, where should you be if something spooks her? And give her, she's very responsive to the cluck. Good, she's doing good. Jessica's doing good. And we didn't show this last time. We didn't show how we took the saddle off. Jessica's learning a slip knot at the railroad tie, so I'm going to ask her to do a slip knot, and then we'll talk about taking the saddle off and storing it on a saddle rack right here. See, now I can do this. If there's somebody around, and I do have IP cameras in case I get in trouble, I can do this on my own. Okay, good. So now think about it, Jessica. We're not ready to put the fly mask on. Think about reversing our steps. Do you remember that I had a rope halter on and it's hanging on the railroad tie? And I had that around her neck. After I put this hackamore on, I dropped it. I knew we'd come back. So we'll go here around the neck. Now Evie's really good about not throwing her head up. Now come on over here. I'm just making a little knot, loose knot, so it doesn't slip, but that's my control right now. Okay, now, remember how I showed you how to take a halter off so that a horse won't lift its head as you're taking a halter off? Do you remember that?
Just kind of had your head.
You had your hand between her ears, and my horses are trained when they feel that pressure. Yeah, okay. Wait. Now you got to remove the knot.
This one?
Nope. The one right there. That one. And then think about, you don't want the reins getting stuck on her halter. See the reins to your right? The yacht rope reins, right. Put them on the other side of the halter. Okay, good, very good. Make sure she knows that you're taking that rope halter, hackamore halter off her head. Good. Okay, now you can just, she's being real good. You can go put it on a post or...
It's tied right here.
Yeah, as long, you could even drop it on the ground, but you know, then if she did start dancing around, be aware of it. Okay, now come back over here and, no, put the halter on her head. Do you think you can do that? See, until you've done it, you really don't know if you can do it. No, first you come back over here. Let me show you. It's one thing to be a passive learner. It's another thing to be an active learner. Evie's being good. I'm going to undo the knot. See, she still feels the pressure on her neck, so she's not going to go anywhere. Then with my left hand, I put the halter on her nose. Then I tie my knot under the loop so it can't fall down. And she is now haltered up, and she's being fine. So think about taking that saddle off in reverse order of the way you put it on. First, you want to take that stirrup. Okay, you can do it that way. But let me show you what English people usually do, and that's an English stirrup. It's like that. Okay? And then this locks it on. Okay?
Let me try.
Okay. And I see Jessica's watched me do that, but I haven't asked her to do it before, and that's the way she's going to learn. Okay, now think about the white strap. Take that off. Okay, that's fine, good. And now the cinch. Okay, now be aware that if something spooks her, that saddle will fall. So touch her on her neck, let her know you're there so she has confidence. Okay, and now I always tie up my cinches somehow. I use these little clippies here, but for now you could just put it across the saddle. I'm gonna use the clippy to keep it here on the stirrup. And now when you take off the saddle and you can take the blankie off so that doesn't fall, that would spook her. And go ahead and put it where you got it from, and remember you turn the blankie upside down on the top of the saddle, just in case it's all sweaty or wet. And see, Evie is being real good. She's a real good horse to learn on. We're showing you the end process of these riding episodes. We showed you the beginning process, the middle process, albeit short. Now the end process. Let's put her fly mask on. Now, how are you going to do that when the halter's on? Think about that.
Take the halter off.
Take the halter off and just hang it from her neck, like it was before. Then you put the fly mask back on, then you put the halter over the fly mask, and you take her where she wants to go, which is, okay, wait a minute, no, oh, right, around the neck. Think about always having a handle on your horse.
And which one goes around?
Yeah, it's the long part of the halter, and she's so good. Okay, then we make, it's just like a,
Okay, let me try it.
yeah, okay. See, Jessica's getting the hang of it. It's one thing to watch, it's another thing to do. There you go. Okay.
Good.
All right, now you can put the fly mask on, let her know it's coming. Now, if you come towards her like you were a bear, she could get scared. But no, you're just going to talk to her. I put these fly masks on first thing in the morning, every morning during the summer. Yeah, but open the Velcro. So that's it. Okay, over her ears. See, she says, I know what you want to do. So she put her head down. That's it. That's it. Then you Velcro it.
She's so patient.
So this isn't just a side saddle lesson. This is a horse handling lesson that we're reminding you what we do. Now put the halter back over her nose. Uh-oh, whoa. Okay, good. See, she thought she was done. Okay, bring her back. Good, she's very good. Now, another horse might have gotten, no, now you've got to come over here. First, come back behind. Okay, now you can put the halter, you have to open it. Put your hand between her ears so she doesn't, your right hand. Yeah, your right hand between her ears so she knows that she's still connected, even though the halter, that's it, okay. Remember, Evie is so good, you've got to think about what a horse who's not so good might do. That's it, perfect. Okay, now you put the halter back on with the knot underneath, yeah, so it doesn't slip. Okay, then you just pet her on her neck, talk to her, she knows what you're trying to do. Now turn around and release your slip knot. Good. Okay, think about, you're going to lead her to, she wants to be with her herd mates. They're over there. So we're going to open this gate up again. And you're going to lead her to her herd mates and think about taking the halter off in such a way that she understands that she's done.
You're done.
When I work cattle, which I can do in a side saddle too, I always take the saddle off when we're all done so that, first I get off. I get off in the arena where we were working the cattle. And then as quickly as I can, I take the saddle off. And then they know that their job is done. Because it's pretty intense to work cattle. Whether it's in a stride saddle, a side saddle, or no saddle. And with or without reins, I have done cattle work without even reins here. Okay, good. Now let's put both those back in the cart shed. And the way Jessica's really going to learn is do this whole process all by herself after she reminds herself all the things you got to think about when you're handling a horse. And all the things you got to think about the nature of the horse. So you can go ahead and put that in on one of the hooks where you're comfortable. And as soon as she comes out of, that's my cart shed, it's got my cart and some of my farming equipment. We're going to just turn this camera off, I'll upload it, and you'll see this next part of side saddle refresher. And that's all for today. And Jessica, when we turn the camera off, now come and watch us. This little red button will disappear.